The shot that shook the world. It was the 28th of June, 1914. A quiet Sunday morning in the city of Sarajevo. The sun rose over the red rooftops as citizens lined the cobblestone streets, waving flags, unaware that they stood at the edge of history's cliff. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was visiting Bosnia with his wife, Sophie, a visit meant to symbolize unity, but would soon unleash a wave of destruction across continents. Franz Ferdinand was not a loved figure. His political reforms threatened the power structures of the empire. His very presence in Sarajevo, on the anniversary of the 1389 Battle of Kosovo, a day of national mourning for Serbs, was a slap in the face to many. It was a calculated risk, and it was about to backfire. Hidden among the cheering crowd were 7 young men, Serbians, nationalists, members of a secret group called the Black Hand. Their mission: assassinate the Archduke. They were armed with pistols, bombs, cyanide, and one terrifying belief: that only death could birth freedom. The motorcade rolled through the city. The first attacker lost his nerve. The second threw a grenade. The explosion missed the Archduke's car but injured officers in the following vehicle. Smoke, panic, screaming. The Archduke was visibly shaken. Sophie clutched his hand, and still he chose to continue. He wouldn't let terror derail his visit. Hours passed. The conspirators had failed, or so it seemed. Franz Ferdinand decided to visit the wounded in the hospital. But no one informed the driver that the route had changed. As the car rolled past Schiller's Delicatessen on Franz Joseph Street, it slowed for a turn and stopped directly in front of Gavrilo Princip, 19 years old, a failed student, a man dying of tuberculosis, and now, face to face with history. He didn't hesitate. 2 shots, 2 lives. Sophie was hit first in the abdomen. She collapsed into her husband's lap. Franz was shot in the neck. Blood gushed from his mouth as he cried, "Sophie! Sophie! Don't die! Stay alive for our children." They were dead within minutes. News of the assassination spread like wildfire. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia. Diplomatic cables flew. Behind closed doors, empires plotted. The Kaiser's Germany offered Austria a blank check of support. Russia backed Serbia. France supported Russia. The United Kingdom watched, cautiously, until it could not remain neutral. Within 37 days, the first shots of World War I were fired. What began as the murder of 2 people became a global inferno. Trench warfare devoured millions. Poison gas clouded the skies. New machines, tanks, airplanes, machine guns redefined death. By 1918, over 20 million people were dead, and Europe, once the symbol of civilization, was a smoking ruin. But who was Gavrilo Princip? Not a monster, not a hero. He saw himself as a patriot. Born to a poor peasant family, he grew up angry and sickly. He was turned away from the Serbian army for being too small. But in radical student circles, he found a voice. He believed the South Slavs were destined to be free, not pawns in an empire. And like many men in history, he thought that killing a powerful man would save his people. Instead, he destroyed them. Arrested on the spot, Gavrilo was too young for the death penalty. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. His cell was small, cold, and dark. Tuberculosis ravaged his body. He lost the use of his right arm. By 1918, he was dead, weighing barely 40 kilograms. Just weeks before the war he started would end. A mistake or destiny? One might ask, what if the driver hadn't taken the wrong turn? What if the grenade had worked? What if Franz had turned back? But history doesn't care for what-ifs, cares for actions and consequences. That wrong turn at the wrong street corner at the wrong moment turned the 20th century into a graveyard. It gave birth to fascism, to communism, to a Second World War. The shadows of that single moment reach even now into our own time. The aftershock, the Treaty of Versailles that ended World War I, humiliated Germany, laying the groundwork for Hitler's rise. The collapse of empires led to revolutions in Russia, in the Middle East, in China. Borders were redrawn, millions displaced. The scars of 1914 remain visible on maps and minds alike. And it all started with a bullet. Closing reflection in Sarajevo today. Tourists pass the street corner where Franz and Sophie died. A small plaque marks the spot. Nearby, a museum preserves the pistol. The small, rusted, ordinary, yet from it poured the blood of a century. Let this be a reminder: history is fragile, peace is fragile, and sometimes the fate of millions hangs on a single trigger, a single turn, a single moment. The shot that killed an archduke awoke a sleeping world and set it on fire.